Did the one budget fall apart over a weekend, or did?
We felt it coming, but we thought we were going to get saved. I mean, you're hoping against hope that you're going to get saved, but then ultimately we got the message that nope, not going to happen. So then it wasn't over a weekend, but there was just this like final nail in the coffin thing that was brutal.
And so this had been 7 years at that point?
Yeah, something like that, sure.
Okay, and then how are you dealing with that emotionally, knowing that, okay, you're going to have to probably take people out of the film, take locations out, pare it down?
I mean, that was brutal. I mean, it's all these calls or emails that you got to send. I mean, I had cast all of those smaller parts with a bunch of actors, around here, around LA. And I had, sorry, the part's not, I had to cut your part. And they all understood. I mean, the actors were all great about that. I mean, that was like a death. So when the money falls out, that was like a death. Like it was literally, because I could not, when it first happened, I could not see a way to actually get the movie made. So there was a grieving process with that. It's just like I had to grieve for a couple days. But then it was, again, I go back to I'm stubborn as all hell. And no, I'm making this movie. So once I got over the fact that this kind of death had happened, and that I then had to still figure out a way to make it, then it just becomes about figuring out a way to make it. Then it gets to that question of like, it's a problem that I've got to solve. It's a nut that I've got to crack. So how can I do it? How can I do this at a level that's smaller? And so it's just figuring out those mechanics, and it meant cutting locations, cutting actors. But once I saw what I was doing and that it was not affecting all of the central stuff in the movie, the central parts of the story, the central ideas of the story, like and what the main character is going through, all of that stuff is still there, then I was fine. Then it's like, oh, I can do this. Like I can still make this, like this other stuff that I had, it was not necessary. So we don't need that extra money. I can't get that extra money anyway, so why have it? It would have made the movie fuller, but it does not change the movie. It does not change the core of the movie. So once I had gone through the sort of, as I say, grieving process of it, then it's just about, okay, now I'm still climbing this mountain. It's that stubbornness of I'm not giving up on it. I'm going to make this thing.
Well, it's almost a parallel to what the story's about, in some sense.
I don't know. I've never thought of it that way. It's just more of. I'll tell you what it was. One of the, like, what lessons do you learn? You learn, for me, or what did I learn? I learned that I will, even with all. I mean, Mike Ryan, or my producer, my other producers, Sherry Hefner, they're great. I could not have done the film without them. But ultimately, when you're making a movie, you are the reason that it's going to ultimately get made, because you're going to be the one who's going to fight the hardest for it. Other people will fight for it. You will fight the hardest for it. If I had said, that's it, when the money fell out, if I go, I give up, I'm not going to be able to do it. They might try to talk me in for a little bit, but they've got other stuff that they're doing too. Again, that's the life of the producer. You got 15 things going. Some of them don't go. And if the writer-director stops, oh, okay, I'm just going to move over. Again, they're not callous. They're not being insensitive or anything. They got other stuff that they got to do. So that was one of the main lessons. Like, you're going to be the main driving force always. On this sort of stuff.